Hi you guys, my name is Cherita. Oh, welcome to my channel. Okay, you guys, just as promised, this is part 2 of the Tessica Brown situation. Now, if you have not watched my first video, you may be a little lost, or maybe not. Maybe you guys already have your own assumptions and thoughts. However, I talk a lot about certain things in the first video, so I advise you guys to watch the first video before you guys watch this video. So because this is part 2, I'm going to be extremely woke. I'm going to talk about my theories, and I'm also going to be talking about what Tessica can do after all of this situation has happened. So if you guys are interested in this video, go ahead and keep watching. Before I get started, make sure you click subscribe for new content whenever I post, and also do not forget to click the notification bell so that you are notified every single time that I post a video. So let's get started. Do you guys love my earrings? Black History Month. I think that's what the kids do. All right, so as we all know, Tessica Brown has also been dubbed the Gorilla Glue Girl because she decided to spray Gorilla Glue into her hair. Now, this is the part where I become a little too woke and I talk about, this is like my think piece. Why does Tessica feel the need that she needed to even put some kind of industrial hair glue into her head? So if you look at her hairstyle was very slicked down. Like, I'm talking slicked, like the way that this headband clings to my head is kind of how I keep calling her Jessica because that is her mother's name. We find out that her mom's name is Jessica because Jessica called into the Wendy Williams show and was like, can you give Tessica a break? So when I say Jessica, I'm sorry. Anyway, Tessica felt the need to have to slick her hair down to her scalp to make sure that there are no flyaways, to make sure that her baby hairs are nice and neat or whatever. She also had this long ponytail to make it look like she's got long hair. Now let's dissect this just for a little bit. Let's talk about the difference between white hair and non-white hair or black hair. If you are black, or if you are non-white and you have extremely curly or coarse hair and you felt like your hair has been undesirable or not professional, raise your hand. If you grew up in like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was kind of a staple for your hair to always be straight. And why is that? Because European standards were considered the norm. European standards were considered beautiful. And by European, I'm just talking strictly European. Normally, people who are European have straight hair, bone straight, scraggly, limp hair. But that was considered beautiful hair. I remember, so I was born in 1984. Yes, I'm old. But I remember waiting, like it was a rite of passage to get your first relaxer. Because as a little kid, you wanted to go outside and swim and sweat out your edges and do all these things. But your mom or parent or whatever, and I'm not speaking of all people, however, it was normal to hear, don't you sweat out your edges. Don't let your hair get frizzy. You can't go swimming because then we have to redo your hair. It was the worst thing ever looking back on it. I could not be a child because my parents were worried about what white people thought about me and my hair, because Afro hair was not considered desirable or professional. That is what we call assimilation. Black people or people that don't have straight hair had to assimilate to what European beauty standards were. And Tessica's 40 years old. So she definitely falls into that line. She falls into that line of, I can't have frizzy hair. I can't have nappy hair. I can't have natural hair. She falls into that. So why does she feel that she needed to make sure that there were no flyaways in her hair? That's something that we need to think about. Now, granted, we are definitely getting better. We are getting so much better with natural hair. We're getting to the point where we are now changing the laws, which the fact that it was a law that you couldn't wear your natural hair, the hair that literally grows out your head, was deemed illegal. We're getting to the point where we're changing those laws. People are now allowed to wear locks without being discriminated against. People are allowed to now wear their natural hair without being discriminated against. Me, as a woman, I can wear my hair short and people like it. I'm able to wear my hair short and me embrace it without thinking, oh my God, what are people gonna think about my hair? We're getting away from whatever is deemed beautiful. Natural beauty standards, no, that's no longer a thing. It's no longer a thing. We're moving away from it. But to me, I feel kind of sad for Tessica because I know what it feels like to think, all right, I got to make sure, I got to get these edges slicked down. I got to get the baby hairs right. Hopefully that's no longer a thing. Hopefully people can just love themselves for who they are. Hopefully we're getting to that point where hair is just hair. My hair is allowed to grow out of my head the way that it was naturally intended, and people don't have to look at me and go, ew, why is your hair like that? Or, oh my God, your hair is so cool. Can I touch it? No, we're getting past that. And I hope this is a learning lesson for Tessica, but she's a little bit older, so she might be stuck in her ways. I don't know. If you know this statement, say it with me. When it comes to Black women's hair, it usually has to be fried, dyed, and laid to the side. That's what it meant to have a relaxer or to get your hair hot combed or pressed. If you guys remember any of this, let me know. Because if you don't remember, either one, your parents were above or beyond their times, or two, you just might be a little young, and that's okay. But fried, dyed, and laid to the side, man, that used to be a compliment. Like, imagine thinking that straight, limp hair was desirable. Imagine that. Now, it's like the bigger, the better. The bigger the bigger the fro, the closer to God. That's more of the thinking now. We're not trying, and this is strictly for the hair that grows out of your head. So we're not saying that people who have straight hair or non-Black people who have straight hair need to appropriate a culture, because there's a difference between assimilation and appropriation. Assimilation is, okay, this is what's desirable. In order for you to fit in, you have to make your hair like that. Appropriation is, oh, their hair, their culture, whatever naturally looks like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take it from them. We're going to make fun of them first. We're going to make fun of them for having nappy hair or curly hair. We're going to make fun of them. And then we're going to take it and we're going to apply it to ourselves and go, aren't we so cool? That's the difference between assimilation and appropriation. Okay, so now that we're over that, I heard a lot of talk of people saying, well, people sue for anything. Don't you guys remember the McDonald's woman? She sued because her coffee was hot. No, you guys, Google is free. Google is free. And it sucks because McDonald's vilified this lady. If you guys don't know this story, there was an older woman and she was burned by coffee that she received at McDonald's. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Number one, when they handed her the cup, the lid was not secure all the way. Number two, the coffee was 30 degrees higher than standard drinking coffee temperature. So she took, and this was a long time ago. This was probably, I want to say it was like in the 90s. So she took the cup and she put it in between her legs and, you know, to like put her cream and sugar in. Well, the lid wasn't all the way on. So when she took off, the lid fell off and the coffee spilled on her. Now, normally hot beverages, they're just hot. This coffee gave her 3rd degree burns in her, like in between her thighs, and she was older. Now, here's the problem with that. Number one, even if she was grabbing the cup from the McDonald's worker, if it would have spilled on her, she still would have gotten 3rd degree burns. The coffee should not have been hot enough to give her 3rd degree burns. And then here's the other thing. She initially did not sue McDonald's. She said, listen, if y'all could just cover my hospital bills, that would be fantastic. She asked for $20,000. McDonald's looked her dead in her eyes and said, here's $800. So then that's when she decided to sue. It wasn't because the coffee was hot. We all know coffee is hot, but McDonald's was negligent. Oh dear Jesus God. McDonald's was negligent because the coffee should not have been that hot, period. Imagine if she would have taken that, blown on it a little bit, and drank it. That would have burned her esophagus. When somebody hands you something, yeah, you blow on it a little bit, but it should not be to the point where it's a boiling. It's a good thing it spilled on her thighs because it probably would have killed her. And there's a really good documentary. I'll try to remember to link it below. It's actually a really, really good documentary because they vilified her. They made it seem as she was stupid enough to get coffee and she was dumb enough to spill it on herself. And then she sued because, no, this is apples and oranges. What Tessica did, she did it on purpose. But she's also not suing. So just stop. Those two things are not correlated at all. First of all, Tessica's not suing. Secondly, McDonald's was in the wrong and they deserve to be sued. If they're serving 30 degree higher coffee, 30 degree temperature higher, automatically the woman her hospital bill should have been paid. Now she got $3 million. Rest in peace, McDonald's woman. I mentioned this a little bit in my last video. White people get clout like this all the time. Do you guys remember Danielle Bregoli? Cash Me Outside, how about that? Y'all, she went on to Dr. Phil, which she should have never went on Dr. Phil to begin with. She went on Dr. Phil. She was terrible to her mother. She said, cash me outside, how about that? And became a star. The girl is still famous. The girl still has clout. People always want to be like, well, stop talking about her. Stop talking about. People obviously still talk about her, or people enjoy what she did. But a 40-year-old woman can't scam. Again, I don't think what she did was a scam. I truly don't think she was doing this initially because of clout. But, okay, so no. Danielle Bregoli did not have a GoFundMe. But guess what? People bought her music. People watch her YouTube. People watch her Instagram. People subscribe to her on all of her social media. What's the difference between you guys literally supporting Danielle Bregoli and you guys and people donating money to Tessica? White people get famous off of this stuff all the time. James Charles, love him. Do you guys remember how James got his start? If you don't, let me remind you. James Charles, he took his senior photos. He claimed he didn't like him. He took his ring light back to the place so that, and did his makeup so that his senior pictures look better. Come to find out that was an entire lie. Right now, James Charles is sitting at 25 million subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, maybe he didn't start a GoFundMe, but he used that to his advantage. He lied to get his foot in the door. What if Tessica wants to be an actress? How come she can't use this to get her foot into the door? It's always okay until a Black woman does it. I don't know if you guys watch Adrian Expressions, but if you guys do, or if you don't, you should go check him out. But if you do, you know what I'm about to say. Adrian was talking about how, had this been a child, this child would have been cussed all the way up and down. Oh, this child is stupid. I can't believe a kid would do something like that. You guys know how you act when a kid, heaven forbid, cuts their hair. You know, they take their ponytail, they cut it off. How many kids have cut their bangs before and people get mad? Oh, I can't believe this kid would do this, that, and the other. Sometimes they blame it on the parents, but you obviously cannot watch your kid. Watch? Where am I from? You cannot watch your kid 24/7. So yeah, sometimes your kid might find some scissors, they get curious, they cut their hair. But why is it that a kid gets more ridicule for doing something that they're literally experimenting? It's like, the kid doesn't know any better. They're like, ooh, scissors, let me cut. Boom, and it doesn't hurt. Ooh, I'm cutting. And first of all, the parents and adults are the ones that get so mad. Oh my God, I can't believe they cut their hair. You mean the hair that'll grow back? You mean the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old, 8-year-old hair that will grow back? Kids would have gotten so much more scrutiny than Tessica did. When have you seen a kid who cut their hair, cut their bangs? When have you seen a parent put a GoFundMe out and been like, my kid cut their hair and I was so distraught? One of two things happen. One, you call the kid stupid. Two, you call the parent stupid. I told you, I'm being woke just for the sake of being woke. And then the last thing in my whole Get Woke series is multiple things can be true at once. One, this could have been a dumb mistake by Tessica. This could have been the dumbest thing she's ever done in her life. However, that doesn't mean you can't feel sorry for them. Just because you wouldn't have done it doesn't mean everybody else in the world wouldn't have done it. There's things that I do that people would be like, ew, wow, ew, Cherita, you would do something like that? There's things that probably some of you guys do that people would be like, why would you ever do that? I don't like that. Why would you ever do that? Look at people who skydive or bungee jump. Look at people who do these things that I would never do. But if something bad happens to them, it's not like, you big dummy, you should have never done it. I don't know, just multiple things can be true at once. You can feel sorry for her, but you can also be like, now girl, what were you thinking? I don't know. Those are just some things to think about. All right, so now we're going to jump into my theories and what I think Tessica was trying to do. These are just my theories because right now, all we know is what she's told us. We don't know what happened. So one, I don't think Tessica did this for clout. I think she was doing it to try to find a hack. Like I said in my last video, me and Audra were talking and Audra said, do you guys remember back in the day when people were using random items to put on their foundation? She mentioned chicken cutlets. I don't remember that. But people were using like, I'm going to use my iPad to apply my foundation. Like people were just doing it just for the sake of doing it and it became a trend. I think she was trying to make a trend and it just kind of like went awry. Again, I don't think she was trying to get clout. I think she was trying to get viral. What? I think she was trying to become viral. And the difference between clout and viral are two different things. People will do anything for clout. You know, like the boy who licked the ice cream and then put it back. He didn't get clout because of that. I think he went on the Dr. Phil show, but he went viral, but he didn't get clout. How many people were really talking about this whole situation? Like people weren't having interviews with him. People weren't sending him ice cream. Like he didn't get clout. He just went viral. And now people look at him as somebody who will do anything to go viral because he even admitted it. He was like, no, I was just trying to go viral. He didn't get the clout. He just went viral. Once Tessica went viral and celebrities started shouting her out, I 100% think she milked it. Again, for a check, you do it too. If you made a mistake and people wanted to talk to you about your mistake, I don't see anything wrong with you going, yeah, I'll talk to you about it. Yeah, I'll do an interview. Yeah, I'll send you pictures, especially if you're getting paid. Like, I'm just so confused on why people don't understand that this really could have just been something like a stupid mistake, because again, I think she lacks common sense. Drag me if you want to. But then she took advantage of the situation. I don't see anything wrong with it. If people want to give her the interviews, give the interviews. But I don't think she put it out there to be like, you guys, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to pretend to put Gorilla Glue on my head. And then TMZ, they're going to hit me up. And then Entertainment Tonight, they're going to hit me up. There's no way that she could have predicted what happened. There's no way she could have predicted it. Do you know how many people do stupid things to try to go viral, but it never happens? Right. And then my last theory is people who think this whole thing is fake. I think it's weird because how did they get the doctor involved? How did Dr. Mike get involved if she staged the whole thing? If she staged the whole thing, how was the doctor involved? And again, I don't think anybody could have predicted the way that it went. I just don't. Like, remember Tide Pods? Who started the Tide Pod challenge? I don't know. Do you? The person who started the Tide Pod challenge, were they on TMZ? Did they have to go to the doctor? Like, like critical thinking. I guess that's a thing of the past. I'm pretty sure critical thinking is a thing of the past. I just want to know the person who started Tide Pods, where they are. That's it. I don't think much is going to happen from Tessica. I don't think much is going to happen for Tessica in this whole situation, which kind of leads me into my next thing, which is what's going to happen next. Now, there's a lot of things that can happen. According to Tessica, she's really not feeling this whole clout situation. Maybe she did want the clout, but maybe now she's to the point where it's like, oh, I really don't like all of this. Maybe Tessica is like, you know what? Maybe I don't like all of this attention. And maybe she just wants to like float back into obscurity. Maybe that's what she wants to do. However, if she truly wants to thrive off of this, because I think she could do something big with this, because first of all, everybody's nosy. There's been so many people been invested in this situation. I know for me, I promise you, the one thing that I was worried about this entire time was her scalp. What is going to happen to this poor girl's scalp? That's all I kept thinking about. So when I saw that her hair like rinsed out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Like her scalp didn't like fall off with it. This is fantastic. But what's next? And there's going to be people who are thinking, what's next? From here, Tessica, she can collab with so many different people. She can collab with hair growth, like people who specialize in hair growth, you know. Oh, I've got this hair growth oil. I've got these hair growth pills. They can throw all these things at her and she can document her journey to growing her hair. How many times have you seen people who have really bad acne and they do document my journey on Accutane, or somebody who did the big chop and they're like, document my hair journey, growing my hair to waist length, or just anything is document my journey, document my journey. This is my first day ever doing makeup. Document my journey for 5 years, watching me do makeup. People like those kinds of things. So if this is the route that she wants to take, that's what she needs to do. She needs to hook up with somebody who, you know, they do hair growth oils or serums or pills or something like that. Or she can start a wig company. Or she can, I know a lot of people want to send her wigs. Beyonce's hairstylist offered to send her a wig. She declined it because she said, I don't want people to think that I did this just to get free stuff. Now, a lot of people can look at it two ways. They can be like, well, of course that's what she wants you to say, or that's what, that's what she wants you to think, but she's probably going to accept it anyways. And it's like, damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. If she takes the hair, then people are like, see, she only did this because she wanted Beyonce's hairstylist to send her hair. That's an extreme way of thinking. As a YouTuber, I've never put out a video doing my makeup thinking, I hope Pat McGrath sees this and sends me free stuff. Or I've never done skincare and been like, man, I hope this is the video and I hope Rihanna sends me some free skincare. Like, that's not how people normally think. But on the flip side, maybe that's how scammers think. I don't know. But I just find it so hard to believe that in her mind, she was like, yes, Beyonce's hairstylist, I'm going to get that hair. I have a hard time believing that. And then for her to think that way and then turn it down, that don't make nobody's type of sense. But all I know is that if she started a journey on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, people are going to watch. Why? Because people are nosy. Another thing is, of course, people are going to be doing this Gorilla Glue challenge. There's this man, he's like 37 years old. His name is like Lee Martin or something like that. And he supposedly or allegedly put Gorilla Glue on the inside of a Solo cup because he thought Tessica was lying, and he was like, there's no way Gorilla Glue is that strong. So he put it around a Solo cup and put it on his mouth. Why couldn't he glue like that cup to a chair or a table or the wall? I don't understand. And that's something where I'm like, oh, he was doing it for clout because he saw what happened to Tessica. And he did a little interview. He had the, his little mask on because he had to go to the ER. And he's like, I would never do anything for this. I would never do anything like this for clout. But he also did the ice cream challenge where he licked it and put it back in the thing. So actually, you probably would do that for clout. Like I said, there's a difference between clout and viral. And you have a lot of people trying to debunk what Tessica did, but here's the difference. Have y'all ever taken a science class before? Because in order for you to conduct a study, you have to do exactly what Tessica did. We don't know what she did. We don't know if she took a comb and ran it through. We don't know if she just sprayed it. We don't know if her hair was relaxed. We don't know what gel she used. We don't know anything. We just know that she finished off her hairstyle with Gorilla Glue. You have people who are now willingly putting Gorilla Glue in their hair to prove Tessica wrong. Now, here's the problem. Tessica said she had the Gorilla Glue in her hair for a month. So in order for y'all to do the experiment, you have to leave it in your hair for a month. You can't spray your hair however way you think she did it because you don't even know how she did it. Leave it in for an hour, put some goof off and go, you guys see she's lying, because you don't know how she did it. So now you guys are just putting products in your hair that don't even belong in your hair, and it don't make no sense to try to prove her wrong. If you believe she's wrong, then she's wrong. I'm not going to prove she's right by putting in my hair for a month and let my scalp burn and be like, oh my God, my scalp is burning, you guys. So what she did was right. No, you guys just look goofy. You look goofy. This is not hurting anybody. There were no think pieces on the little boy who scammed people for $100,000. So why are there think pieces on Tessica? Maybe she just wants to fade back into her regular life and just forget about it. Again, we don't know because it's been a week. A lot has happened in a week and we don't know. But the people who are avidly trying to debunk what she did, y'all are weird. Weird. Because it don't make no sense. Because you don't even know what she did. And even if it wasn't Gorilla Glue, she put something in her hair that made it to where she had to get medical help. And if I'm wrong about this, I'll come back and say I was wrong. But I just find it hard that she included a doctor to be like, yeah, this is how you get Gorilla Glue out, and to question him as a doctor. There's certain things that you can and can't do as a doctor, and malpractice is one of them. So I doubt that she was like, okay, doc, this is what we're going to do. Even if she did, after she went viral, put the Gorilla Glue in her hair, she still had it in her head to the point where it burned. And for the people going, well, I put Gorilla Glue in my hair and it didn't burn. You didn't have it on your hair for a month. I mean, if you want to put it in your hair for a month, please do. And then we'll talk about it in a month. But I think it's weird that anybody would go that far. Just don't put Gorilla Glue in your hair. Like, I feel like that's just the answer. Don't put Gorilla Glue in your hair. Some of y'all really showing your education. Some of y'all really showing the lack of critical thinking that you have. So for me, one, I'm glad sis has her scalp. And two, I'm glad that a doctor truly took the time and energy to figure out how to fix the situation rather than slapping a Band-Aid on it, rather than just soaking her head in acetone for 20 hours. That's what doctors need to be doing, instead of just, oh, doc, I have a cramp in my left side. Here's some pills. And then 3 weeks later, you wake up dead because you have appendicitis and it burst. I appreciate doctors like that. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Again, unless breaking news happens, I'm probably done with this story because it don't matter. Tessica's head is fine. And also, I don't expect Tessica to follow the doctor's orders, to be completely honest, because she was more upset that she didn't keep her ponytail on. She's like, oh my God, we could have kept my ponytail. I don't expect her to follow rules for 6 weeks. I really don't. But that still doesn't mean that I think she did it on purpose. I just don't expect much from somebody who sprayed Gorilla Glue in their hair to begin with. So anyway, that's it. That is it for Miss Tessica Brown. Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Also, do not forget to link up with me on my social media, especially Twitter. Also, do not forget that you can subscribe to my Patreon and also join my my membership on YouTube. Both of them are the exact same thing, so please do not subscribe to both. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye. I'm not sure I understand. Shut the hell up.
Give me up, I wanna. Gotta work, go berserk, I gotta. Know you gon' wake up. Know you gotta get your cake up. Don't matter if it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's my time, my own.